Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Bennett Tchaikovsky, and this is an introduction to all of my videos that I have been going through and creating for intermediate accounting. And I'm really going through and just doing selected exercises and problems. I've been using both the 16th and 17th edition of Wiley. There's not a huge difference, but this is just to give you an introduction in terms of how I go through and make these videos. I'm also including in links below playlists so that you can go through and reference those. The Intermediate Accounting 17th edition textbook authors are Don Kiso, Jerry Weingant, and Terry Warfield. Questions used in the presentation are copyright 2019 by John Wiley and Sons, all rights reserved. And my videos are really for educational purposes only, and these may not be distributed without the express permission of Wiley. Okay. So about me, I'm a licensed California CPA and attorney, and I have served previously in my former life. I was a chief financial officer for publicly traded companies. I've served as a board member, audit committee designated financial expert. I'm also doing that right now. Currently, as of this date of October 13th, 2021, I serve on a few boards, and I've been teaching intermediate accounting at least the first semester, and I started doing that in 2016 at Irvine Valley College. And I was brought up on Kiso and Weingant's 6th edition. So I use this to learn intermediate accounting. I know that there's the Spiceland or the other one that's done by McGraw-Hill. I personally like this book, like all textbooks. It's not perfect, but the questions that are asked in this by Wiley, and one of my somebody who taught me once actually shared this with me, and she said, Bennett, there's enough in that book for a lifetime, and she was absolutely correct. So I also want to give a kind of a huge shout out to Wiley for allowing me to make these videos. And as I just mentioned, the questions that are asked in the book are extremely thought-provoking from an accounting perspective. And that's really why I like using these questions, or why I like making the solutions of the questions. Also, just want to share too, Wiley gave me permission, but they're not compensating me for the creation of these videos. So my videos are going to be way too long, just like this one. However, I'm intentionally doing it this way. The reason is whenever I've spoken with students, they are always complaining about when a professor puts a number on the board and they don't show where that number actually came from. They want to know, well, where did that number particularly come from? So a lot of my students have said, yeah, Bennett, you're much better like on 1.75 speed. So, and that's really the way I do my videos. I generally do not go through and I'm violating, I guess, all the YouTube laws. I would never survive on TikTok. I would probably need about 70 TikToks to do one accounting question, which is just way too much. But really, if you're looking for more of a deeper exploration of these different questions, it can really be a good way to do it. And I've heard from some students that Wiley doesn't necessarily have, for the longer questions in their textbook, meaning the more difficult ones, they don't have video solutions, especially for the problem. So I'm kind of trying to fill that gap. Also, too, what you're going to notice is in some of my videos that my solutions that I'm providing do not necessarily always agree with Wiley's solutions manual. And this is really where we have differences of opinion in how financial statements are created. However, there's beauty in these differences. And the beauty is basically that the SEC has obviously accepted both. When I'm going through and showing you illustrations of, say, Apple and also of Home Depot, what you notice is, well, Apple separates current and non-current assets. For example, with Home Depot, what they go through and do is they show, well, here are the current assets, and then they list out everything else below. They don't identify those as being non-current, they just show them below current. So, but what Wiley will do in some of these, and this is really referring back to chapter 5, they show things in different categories in their solutions, right? So the way I'm showing you my solution may not always agree with the particular solution manual. So if your instructor is really hell-bent on the solution manual, or you doing Wiley Plus homework in a particular way, just know that if you go to sec.gov, and again, as a accountant, if you're pursuing a career in accounting, the best advice I can offer to you is to go to sec.gov and read 10Ks, read 10Qs, go through and look at those documents. Those are documents that have been reviewed by the attorneys, corporate counsel, auditors, everybody before they get filed, right? The amount of money and time that Apple probably spends creating their 10Qs and 10Ks, it's a lot because of the high exposure. And they've probably had technical partners of whoever their auditors are out in Washington, D.C., going through and reviewing everything. So, Wiley's not perfect, but neither are any of us. And, but with that being said, I can't really think of better questions that are really out there. The other thing too is that I don't have solutions for everything. I have a lot, but if you have a question or a video request, leave a comment in the videos, right? So if you don't understand something and you want me to further clarify something, I am more than happy to do it. Just send me a comment, and what I'll probably do is respond possibly with a video, but I'm here to help you. I want to see you be successful in taking intermediate accounting, and there you go. So this last link right here that I'm sharing with you, and this is something where one of my fellow professors, John Russo at Irvine Valley College, shared with me. This is called zlive.org, and I will also leave this link at the very bottom of the presentation. When you go over here and you kind of start looking at the resources, and if I type in intermediate accounting, wow. So these are both two of the different textbooks that I use. These are the actual ebooks. You can download these. So if you're wondering where I'm getting my questions from, this is where they're coming from. So if there's something that as I'm going through the solution, you need to go back and refer to something, just go through and take a look at that particular intermediate accounting textbook. Okay. So free books, right? Always good. Everything is amazing when it's free. But again, the best resource for you is going to be going to the Securities and Exchange Commission's website, sec.gov. Okay, so again, I want to thank Wiley and the authors, Kiso, Weingen, and Warfield for writing these such amazing questions. And don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're ever looking again for other solutions to questions that I'm not posting for, please ask in the comments. I'm right now at the point where I'm getting through about chapter 14, 15, and hopefully I'll be getting to chapter 16 soon. But again, feel free to leave questions. If you want me to go through and do a problem solution, you probably have the question, probably a lot of other people do too. And so feel free to go through and ask that question. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a great one.